I personally felt like watching all that hardcore gangbang shit just ruined actual sex for me. Like I couldn't, like the fact that I could just change the channel and see one more fucked up thing after another, and then when I actually went to have sex, it was just like, oh, it's just you? It's just like, I got a little boy. And welcome to another exciting episode of the Super Suck Hour. My name's the Super SUCKLORD, and we're here sweating our fucking dicks and pussies off in the Super Suck Hole here right in the center of Fuzhou, Chinatown. Today, once again, we're going to continue our investigation into this compelling discussion with these very OG New York motherfuckers. Today we have Mr. Jakuan 360 Toys in the fucking house. Oh. And once again, reprising his role as Tony Arcabascio from A-Life and other things such as Now You Know and What's Your God, other brands we never fucked with, another show. J Corp is back again in her summer whites and her little cap. And we have Nasty Neil just sitting there stunting on him with the flies buzzing around him because he's so fucking sweet. You know, you know how I do. I'm gonna just keep you around so all the mosquitoes bite you and not this.
They fucking know better not to.
They know better. And okay, so we're back in the studio again for another investigation on the things that we find interesting. This is not a buttfuck episode, but you never know where it's gonna turn. We have Mr. Jakuan in the studio today, and I just before we really, I want to give you my perspective. It's like 360 Toy Group.
Okay.
The first designer toy store to ever open in North America, right?
Yeah.
Yes, definitively. Major. And if you're in the toy game, if you're a toy collector, if you're in the vinyl scene, if you're in the designer toy world, and you haven't heard of and don't know what 360 Toy Group is, then you're full of shit. Then you don't know. If you're one of those fucking guys that's like, well, I got into designer toys in 2009 when I saw my first dunny. Bafungats to you. You ain't shit. You ain't shit. You ain't shit. You ain't shit. This is the shit. For fucking designer toys in America, this is the guy. And I knew you way back in the fucking day. You were working at Sir, I think. You used to work for Russ a little bit.
Yeah.
And somehow, I don't remember the first actual time I met you, but I remember you were a toy guy. Even before you had 360, you were into regular toys. And you asked me about some custom thing, or you knew I was a toy guy.
That was much later, but yeah, I had a clothing brand called Rock Hard that I came out of the Union camp, James Jebbia Supreme, that camp doing. So during that time, like 94, I lived in Japan for a little while. Back and forth, so I got into the whole kind of, Japanese toys and manga shit and Ultraman and all that kind, which is much different than the toys in America.
True, but it's a thing.
Yeah, so that's what kind of
Right, but you didn't you before you became the fucking impresario of the fucking Lower East Side, making you fucked with Michael Lau, with Cause, with fucking Eric So, Futura, like all the originals. But when you also had like a bunch of McFarlane shit, weren't you?
Oh yeah,
you came from that. You had that. I mean, there's always been a thing for you.
Yeah, of course.
McFarlane shit?
That was actually what got me
in the store.
No. That's what got me into collecting toys, was like McFarlane toys,
Me too.
Spawn and all that shit.
Just because it was next level. Before that, there was really no. I mean,
you weren't into vintage Star Wars, any of that shit.
I was, but not to the level of otaku, of like fucking fanatical and shit.
Right.
Like Spawn was.
You were a Spawn
was
fanatic?
on the level of
the toy shit,
of detail of the Japanese toys.
Sick.
Aliens vs. Predator.
No, but these McFarlane toys would come with all these little accessories on the side, like a little.
I always hated those fucking things.
I mean, but as you know, it's called a 2-up. You work on it larger, and then they shrink it down. So that's how they got that hyper realistic shit. But even besides that, what McFarlane did for the business, the toy business. I mean, I was always been like the artist, and it's been an art game for me.
He did bring a level of artistry and seriousness to it.
But also for the business, toy business of it, the market, like limited edition, variants, like things like that a normal toy person, never heard of.
True.
He's the one who kind of did like, the no panty Angela or the ball. He did these different variants where kids would want to collect those, and those were becoming more valuable than the other. And
I also think there was an emphasis on the artistry of the toys, and that these were done by
But can I ask you a question? I don't want to sound naive, but how come? I have like massive McFarlane toys. At one point, I liked to collect them too. And I found this one spot. It was like a fucking like a Toys R Us, something like that, out in Long Island that I could go get whatever the fuck I needed because no one even wanted that shit, right? So I would go get this stuff, and one of the things I was just trying to get rid of
they're
was
worthless.
these toys. How come they're worthless?
Because they produce so many. It was all hype. That's what I'm saying. He's the one who created hype.
They're fucking worthless now.
He created, you know, the marketability of a limited edition toy. But we're talking McFarlane, so limited edition at that point is what, $50,000. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it was a lot.
It's not like we're making sneakers and toys at our time. It's different. But he created that hype of wanting something that's different than the mass has. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. I mean,
and this is before the sneaker game. This is before that.
And also the toy game, as you came to define it in your time, took a page or two from that.
Of course, because that was my, I was a toy guy. It was,
So
G.I. Joes. I had
a
huge black G.I. Joe collection.
Right. You know what? But I mean,
just the black, characters because they were more limited.
African American characters,
the black ones,
Roadblock, Stalker.
No, not like the G.I. Joe cartoon, just G.I. Joe itself.
Oh, you mean like the 12-inch ones?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because in a pack, because I owned a store, so it's like in a pack, of 12 G.I. Joes, only 2 of them will be black.
So you would pull those out.
Well, no, those are the ones that for me were kind of cool and special.
Okay, why?
There was less.
Because I was geeky, dude. It's just, that's the toy.
I mean, the thing is, I think everybody who collects toys, there's so much shit to buy that you have to kind of pick these little original perversions that no one else has. This angle.
There's something for everyone, yeah.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, it's like people do tend to curate what they collect and sort of use it as a way to express their own thing.
I collect the Barbies. What does
I
that
did
mean,
too.
dude?
I did too. Some of those toys are
I got the ill Barbie
those
collection.
are beautiful toys. Those are really
Star
well
Trek and X-Files.
You still have all of this
yeah.
shit? Because I remember you came up to me at some point in like
Wanting to sell
2003 with
shit.
you had like a meat locker or something just like filled with just like McFarlane and episode 1 shit.
I got rid
and
of
you
a
thought I
lot
was
of
like a
that shit.
rube that was going to liquidate your shit.
Yeah, I got a lot of that.
Okay,
rid
but
of
then
a lot of
how did
stuff.
you get into the business of actually making toys and producing and selling toys? I mean, how does that line connect?
Well, because I was a toy geek and still am a toy geek, so the toy thing is always in the back of my mind. I started designing and producing a clothing line called Rock Hard, traveling to Japan.
You only sold in Japan, right? Or,
at first, yeah.
and you were a dick about it too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course,
It was a
always.
big- it was a big
That's why it was
secret.
called Rock Hard.
Yeah.
But so just traveling there and being in the toy game or whatever.
You went to Hong Kong too?
Hong Kong, met Eric So and Michael Lau very early on in their careers when Michael Lau was just making little sneakers, like little Jordans and and he
Right.
was, doing, conventions with that shit before he even made a 12-inch toy.
Right.
Going to Japan and messing with these cats, Hikaru from Bounty Hunter and Nigo from Bathe and Ape.
Yeah, this is all the first.
Yeah, this is just shit is bubbling. Everything's coming up, and I every time I go to Japan, I would frequent a few toy stores that were like the cool ones. And there was a spot called Zap that Oka, who basically runs Medicom now, worked at, and Hide, who does Secret Base, owned. So it was
Right.
like their toy store, and they sold G.I. Joes and all that kind of shit. And that's before Medicom and Secret Base and all that. So I would frequent there, so I knew them as well. So it was just kind of a thing where I just knew all these people, and
So early, right?
Stash had a spot called Recon. He just opened on Eldridge Street, just newly opened, and
And it was like right when the Lower East Side was like, okay.
yeah,
Like,
he.
everyone was
And,
like-
I mean, this was even before his plans for Nor or anything else,
Right.
because he had just opened, and the store next door to him was coming up,
Right.
and I was doing Rock Hard, so I was figuring out to do a clothing store, and I was looking in Brooklyn at the time. So Stash basically came up to me and was like, yo, this store next door is going to be open. Do you want to grab it? And it was through a friend. He knew the landlord, so it wasn't going to be that hard.
How much was it?
At first, it was $800. I was like...
$800 for
Yeah.
a storefront on Eldridge Street
Yeah,
and housed
yeah.
it.
So, and being that Stash had Recon next door, and he designed my 360 Toy Group logo because he was very supportive, and he's always been, still to this day. And he designed, and nobody knows that, the 360 logo. That
Now they know they're exclusive.
Yeah. So I didn't want to do a clothing store next to my friend's clothing store. Just kind of a conflict of interest.
Sure.
So at that time, I had already acquired an apartment full of, I had tanks and helicopters hanging on my ceiling and my, like, it was pretty crazy. I had McFarlane, like, carded shit all, like, my walls, you couldn't see my walls. It was just all carded figures. And my girlfriend at the time was pregnant, and it was the type of thing where I have to get rid of this shit. So
I'll
up with a toy store, but, being that, I have this acquired taste, it wasn't just going to be a regular toy store, it was going to be a toy gallery. And everything was taken out the box and displayed.
What year was this?
And this was 99. 1999.
That's when we opened.
Right, I know. That was the seminal time for that area.
So when my store first started, it basically started just with my collectibles.
There's nothing for sale.
No. There was. It was my collectibles. It was a lot of like G.I. Joes, Barbies, Star Wars. It was that kind of toy store. But I would do elaborate windows and setups and shit, like, and take shit out the boxes and put them behind glass with lights.
Yeah, you had like that seven.
It wasn't the
Samurai
Toys R Us.
setup,
Yeah, it wasn't the Toys R Us where it was just boxes and shelves and
you put like a mad diorama in the front window.
So that's how it started, and I was selling that shit. Then little by little, like I said, Michael Lau started doing stuff, Eric So, Bounty Hunter, and since I was all friends with these guys, and I was doing my little figures and shit like that.
You were? What do you mean? What figures?
I was just.
You were making your own shit?
I was doing like hip hop figures. Like I did a
custom one-offs or productions.
Yeah. No, custom one-offs.
Right. Yeah.
Well,
You
basically, branded, right?
No. This is before Rock Hard.
Yeah.
It's like anybody else that was into the toy shit and was kind of an artist. Like I would take a G.I. Joe body and just make like a head,
right.
and then sew
a
clothes.
black guy head.
Yeah. So I did like a Biggie and a Tupac way back, like.
Yeah, before anyone did that.
Yeah. And then try to actually get the license, but it was too weird. Like
I know, right?
Like dead rapper toys. Like no. Dude.
You definitely suffered from being in the vanguard, I think. In a lot of ways.
I was I still am, just way ahead of my time. Like I approached the foundations for the license to do these dolls, and they kind of looked at me weird. But then I think 3 or 4 years later, like Mezco did big. It's.
Yeah, that's you. You started it, and everyone else after you fucking fed off your entrails.
Yeah, like I was saying, in his segment, like it's like. There wasn't the category that we were following. We were kind of creating.
Right, and also you fucked with all kinds of shit.
And we weren't
so
able to monetize it the way people are monetizing it now.
Yeah, well, then what happened? I mean, you started manufacturing shit too.
So then I started carrying all these toys that were, pretty crazy, and like Bounty Hunter toys were like $400, and people really didn't understand. Like, aesthetically, the store was beautiful. It was a toy gallery. Everything, but they didn't understand a plastic
and
doll
you sure as fuck didn't help them
$400.
understand it.
Yeah, because it wasn't for sale.
You
it was
were
part
quite
of my
hostile.
collection. No, because people are just people. That's just
Well, I mean,
but that's how it was, man. You wanted to show your space. It was a space. That's what I was saying. Like you call it a store. You call it was a space.
Exactly. It was my toy gallery.
You wanted to
yeah,
show
but
your
you would
shit
walk in
off,
there
feel me?
and ask questions, and you tell them to fuck
yeah,
off.
But that was no. I mean, that's we're getting later on.
Okay,
I mean,
okay,
if you
all
were,
right. So I don't
the
want to
whole
get you.
fuck off thing. I was very abrasive. I was
So
answering.
you were trying to share and
Yeah,
enlighten people and turn them on to this stuff, and you were evangelizing.
Yeah, exactly.
You didn't turn into a dick till later, after you became bitter.
Exactly.
But we don't want to rush it.
Exactly.
So okay, so then what
Became
happened?
all
What was
lemony and shit.
What was the next seminal moment after you set up this gallery and you were doing the more traditional shit? What was the next thing that happened?
So during my travels, I would acquire things from Japan because Japan wasn't really a place that people went. It was kind of still very foreign and kind of very exotic. And
but they sure did want the hip hop.
great.
Though.
No, but I was bringing
great.
back. I was bringing back like camouflage headphones that Audio Technica would make that weren't available in
Only for
America.
them.
Yeah, and stuff like that in my store.
But
so
weren't they also hungry for American shit there? Weren't you like moving, taking shit that you couldn't get out there?
Of course, vice
putting it out
versa.
there?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I learned that from James. From when working at Union, it was that kind of a trade thing. I'd go there, buy shit, and they'd come here, buy shit from us. And,
Right.
Did you ever go buy like we'd actually go and buy shit for retail because we didn't know who the fuck was.
Of course.
And just bring
all
that
my
shit back and double
Audio-Technica
that
headphones
shit.
were retail. I'd go to fucking
Tokyo Hands or some shit.
Yeah,
after that,
yeah.
right?
That's the
But
best fucking store
Akihabara, like electronic town.
Yeah.
Like it's called Akihabara. It's like electronic. You go there and the whole town is just
underground.
Yeah.
Man,
it's
what was
all
that big-
electronics.
I've been there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just like
It's all these towns in Japan.
you bring shit home and you would just double the price.
Yeah, but people do that all the time now.
Because
But you can't
people
do
weren't
that now.
doing
Now
it.
you
No,
just-
no.
now you
But
just
now because
order it
now-
online
yeah,
and
now
you get-
Beats does them. You know, it's like but it's
This is also the pre-internet era.
Yeah, you had to go and
before
get the
social
shit.
media, before any of that shit.
You had to go
couldn't
get
go
it.
Where having a store actually made sense.
It was fucking great. Well, I mean, that's why there's so many storefronts fucking empty.
Okay, so you started packing your store with more of this.
So anyway,
Japanese
to
shit.
make a long story short,
No, don't make it
I
short.
started
We got a
working
whole
with
hour.
these. No, I started working with these cats. Right, I started working with these guys and bringing their product in, and it started getting categorized as vinyl or urban vinyl or whatever. You know, just these weird ass toys. It wasn't even a thing like Bounty Hunter was influenced by like Frankenberry and Count Chocula and shit like that, and they were doing these kind of like these weird bounty hunters that
Right.
looked like that
Mhm.
for their brand, their clothing
Captain
brand.
Crunch and all that
Yeah,
shit. That
yeah.
wasn't their main character one of those like
Yeah,
pirate
yeah.
kids? Yeah, that was one of the Captain Crunch
Yeah.
villains.
It was like the dude in the background on the cereal box. Yeah.
Right.
So shit like that, and it just became kind of a thing, and urban vinyl kind of became it. So,
How did those kids get that shit made at that time?
they were just very
I mean, the factories already existed that made this kind of shit.
well. Yeah, in China, it's a plastic factory.
Yeah, but they weren't doing like a
No,
cool,
but they're in
cool
Japan,
street
so
kid
it's not
shit
like
or, yeah,
No, of course not. But that's what I'm saying.
The factory was there.
yeah, but they had access to
and
them.
basically
Yeah.
before all of this,
All of
this
this.
medium was like
I'm
was
my
like
own thing. I'm
soft
not this.
vinyl. When you think of soft vinyl before this shit,
Right.
You think of like dog
Shit.
chew
Yeah,
toys,
there's shit in
like
there.
pet toys. Dog chew toys was like soft vinyl.
So those are the same factories that were making dog toys are now making.
Basically,
Okay,
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
See.
I made some real.
$400
You
cheap
made
toys.
some
toys.
really expensive
Yeah,
dog toys.
yeah.
in
Same,
your day.
same spots that are making the dildos and all that.
Yeah,
shit.
I know. Okay, that's good. That's
Yo,
good to
they're
know.
sculptures.
It's art.
It's art.
Is it art if you make 1,000 of them?
Yeah, let me tell you something. When you put a fucking fresh vinyl,
We always talk.
I
about
mean,
this.
ask a Warhol piece that, and
Well-
its value. I mean, he's the one.
We
No, I mean,
always talk about this, and we
No,
always,
of
and it's
course.
always the same. Warhol. We don't. Let's
of
not go down
course,
this road.
but I don't agree with it either. I'm not.
I
I'm
mean, I
just
don't
throwing
think
it out there.
What was the
I'm
question
there's
again?
the
I'm being
degrees
devil's
of art.
advocate. I don't
There's
agree
degrees
with
of
it,
art.
it's, but he's the one that basically was like, "Fuck it, you can do my silkscreen and it's still a Warhol."
Here, it's a
and-
product, but it's art.
Yeah. And that's how I saw 360. I mean, they're products, but it's art. It's always been art.
Didn't
to
you
me.
win the Art Star show or something like
I
that?
won the popular vote.
This cat was all up in that shit.
I didn't
son.
win. I
Yo,
didn't win.
that was Jen was like,
I was buying
Yo.
his toys when he was like peddling them in the streets.
no,
like,
but did you see this show that he was on?
Yeah.
Did you see?
We don't need to talk about it.
Okay.
No, the let's. I'm
No,
being him now.
he was in some reality like the next America's Next Top Model, but it was like America's Next Top Artist.
How do you do all this stuff? You were like
He
in the
did it.
dating game.
He
when
was
you
the
were
best
young,
part
like,
of the show. Jen, like I'll never forget. She comes in the room. She's like, "Get over here." Morgan's on fucking TV. It
Oh wait, I know what you're talking about.
was like China Chow and like, what's the guy? Salts.
Jerry Saltz.
Your boy- that's
we
your
just
boy.
spoke to him the other day.
That's
actually,
your
on
boy.
Instagram.
I'm sorry to bring this up.
No,
Go
it's fine.
back
It's not
to-
that I'm embarrassed. It's just like we could talk about me anytime. I want to talk
No,
about
all right,
him.
okay,
sorry.
okay.
But
Sorry.
you know, but unless it's relevant to the
But
story,
it is
It
because
was
it's
Where-
amusing.
Where
It
are we
is
going?
amusing.
Well, we were going with it somewhere. All right, go.
If you want to make a point, go ahead.
I don't know
care.
what the point
art,
was.
because fucking toys are art.
Yeah, dildos and
Not-
plastic
if-
factories and shit like
According
that.
to the people that were judging that show,
And you're an
toys
art
were
star.
not art because I lost. I was told I was not an artist and I was asked to leave. So
Because look what you're dealing with, and that's the whole point of this whole story.
yeah, but I mean, I guess we've already answered that question. I mean, we know it's art because an artist is behind it, but I think there's a difference between like a multiple edition as art and a handmade piece of artwork. There's like art with a capital A, and
Of
there's
course,
art
and,
with a
that, and
lowercase
that's where its value
But
comes
sure,
in.
it is art. Yeah, it's art.
I mean,
if an
a
artist does it, it's
one-of-a-kind
art.
piece is thousands of dollars
Yeah, but I
worth
mean, but if an
something.
artist designs a toy and they only make 1,000 of them, it's art of a fashion because an artist made it, but the piece itself isn't quite as elevated as something that's a unique
Sure.
handmade. But that we've covered
You're
this a
just spreading-
zillion
you're just
times.
spreading that. You're breaking down that big price into small price so a lot of people can enjoy it.
I want to get to the part
But
where you
people
start
couldn't
hating on
understand a
everybody.
$400 piece because people would come in my store and be like, "Why is this dog $400?" And
you
it's like
had a
I would
justifiable
explain.
reason.
I would explain it to them, and they still would be like, "So then why is it $400?" And they just couldn't understand it. So at a point, I just became all jaded and was like, "Fuck you, leave my store."
Yeah, people would come in and they would question what was going on, and then they would scoff at it, and then you would tell them to get the fuck out. Nothing's for sale.
So nothing was for sale because I acquired that one fucking $400 dog for whatever, probably free from like my friends that made them $400 dogs. And I wasn't willing to sell it because my friend gave it to me, so it was sentimental, and it was a thing where I'd be a dick if I sold that $400
but you
dog.
still did
got
brisk
something
business out
gifted.
of that store. You
Oh no, I
sold
did.
a lot of shit.
So at a point,
It's like regifting.
but at a point, what happened was, and this is because of necessity. It's not because I'm trying to start a trend or I was like, oh, the toy guy. At a point, at a necessity, I'm not selling these fucking toys. I have to pay rent. So I'm like, I'm gonna start making my own plastic dogs for $400. And I started approaching, you know, like people that I knew that were in the game that started this shit. Now, Oka has a company called Medicom, and you know, Bathing Ape is super popular, and you know all these brands that Stussy and Supreme that I came up with. So I started approaching these guys and started making their toys. And it was very lucrative, and it was kind of very new, and people were like on the shit, and it was dope. It was
And there was a
time.
market for it
and
already.
These guys were doing their shit, and I was doing my shit, and then I would do shit for them, and I did a tour with Rob.
Yep.
For A Life,
Yeah, I know.
With Echo, you know, it was a strange ass, dope ass toy till this day. People still don't get it, and it's a piece of art. It's not a toy.
And also, you did Keith Haring shit.
Yeah.
You did.
Well, that
Warhol
comes
stuff?
later
Okay,
on.
there's
So
more.
so I
Okay,
started
okay.
making these toys, right? And it's like, oh, clothing brand toys, cool, all right. So everyone's starting to make clothing brand toys now. So it's like, all right, it's become a market. It's become something that people can make money from. So I'm like, fuck. So I start making toys for other friends that are graffiti artists. So I'm like, I'm gonna take these graffiti artist characters and 3D them and start making toys.
Drop
and
some names.
Futura. Started doing, you know, I did the Supreme toy, I did Sissy's toy. I did Futura's toy. So then at the point I did stuff with Rob. Rob was, you know,
Didn't you do a cause
jazzed,
toy
you
too?
know what I'm saying? I did Cause as well. Cause was the last graffiti toy I did. So at that point,
Who did that first one? That was at the new museum. Remember? Who did
that was Hectic from Japan, yeah. And that was so early on that it was, you know, it was kind of such a
Remember that
thing.
shit?
Yeah,
It was $100. Remember?
it was dope. Yeah. So I did those things, but then everyone started making, you know,
And everyone else did it.
graffiti toys. So I was like, well, what the fuck, I gotta step it up. I gotta think of something better. So then I was like, I'm gonna license a dead artist and make their toys. So Keith Haring I came up with Keith Haring. I knew Keith, and it was
Was
just
that an
perfect.
easy license to get?
It wasn't. I mean, it's supposed to not be an easy license to get, but
It was easy for you.
because it was so early on in the game that I approached them. I packed a suitcase with a bunch of my shit.
And also, you weren't a nobody asking.
Well, no, I kind of was because it still was early on where it was so new that I packed a suitcase full of these toys, brought them to their office, and were like, "Listen, this is what's going on. This is what the youth is getting. This is, you know, this is whatever. I want to bring, you know, Keith's shit into a new age bracket where people can start recognizing, you know." And I sold them on the idea, and it was still so new that it was relevant. But the thing was that they were closing their foundation, and everything was being absorbed into the estate, and they couldn't really do anything because I was coming to them as a customer, like, hey, I'll do this for you, and then I make them for you and you sell them,
Right.
type of thing. And then at that point they loved the idea so much, but they couldn't really do anything because, you know, when something absorbs something, all their assets, all the money's on, you know, frozen, so they couldn't do anything for maybe 6 months. So they were like, we'll give you the license and you could do it for us. And, you know, and that's how that whole thing came about.
How much Keith Haring shit did you make?
I made about 2 figures before I kind of disappeared in life and shit.
Yeah, what's up with that? What happened? You eventually quit this game.
Yeah, well,
I mean, was
to
that-
get
is there- where's-
back
like,
to get back
I don't
into
wanna-
shit, when this started getting popular and shit started bubbling, it became, it wasn't fun anymore. I wasn't happy. Like, 2:00 in the afternoon, and like 2 white guys and a black guy walk into your store at 2:00 in the afternoon on a Wednesday, you know something's up. I mean, these people are obviously, you know, middle-aged men.
Do they?
Well, no. I
Pretty
mean,
general.
it is.
He's getting more descriptive.
I'm trying to get to a point. Yeah.
Man.
Middle-aged men, 2:00 in the afternoon, walking through fucking Eldridge Street, you know, the LES, walking into your store. Like, you know, obviously people have jobs, and this is prime, you know. So it's like, what are they doing here? And then I look at them, and like they all have Puma sneakers on. The two guys have a Puma hat. This guy's a Puma bag. So obviously they're working for Puma. So I'm like, hey, what are you guys doing? Oh, you work for Puma? Oh, how'd you know? Duh. And it was a lot of that, a lot of like people, because shit was bubbling, and a lot of people were coming by to
scope it out,
to see what's going on
and see what they could bite,
as well as A-Life, and as well, because it was like Eldridge Street was the fucking spot for a minute. We were doing it, and it was a lot of the Nike. Mark Parker came to my store so many times before I even knew it was Mark Parker.
Who the fuck's Mark Parker?
Nike CEO.
Oh, okay.
The CEO, president at the time. Now he's the president and CEO.
I have one pair of Nikes.
He loves toys. He there's a story that I was told.
He did that whole. Remember that whole.
He fucked with Michael Lau for a minute after he came to my store, and when I educated him on who Michael Lau was. So I was talking to my friend Eddie Cruz from LA, Undefeated, to see all that other, So he's like, yeah, I'm having lunch with Mark Parker from Nike, and he's telling me how, he built the annex on his house for his toys. Oh, cool. That dude sounds dope. Like, he goes, yeah, I was sitting with him, and I was telling him, oh, you should go to my boy's store, Jakuan. And he goes, oh, yeah, 360 Toy Group. I was there last week, bought a bunch of shit. And I was like, so he told me the story, and I'm like, who's this dude? Like, and he described him to me, so the next time he came in, I knew who he was. So it's like people like that would be coming by and just kind of doing the whole secret research, that, and like, the name I refuse to mention.
There's actually a name you'll refuse to mention?
Yeah, I don't give them any type of light. Never have, never will.
Okay, got it. I mean, I'm dying to know. I can probably guess who it is.
You mention it all the time.
I could probably guess who it is. And so can you.
It just got annoying. It just and I got really jaded, and I became a fucking like crab. People would walk in my store. I was like, they would ask me a question. I'm like, what do you want? Who do you work for? What are you writing, a school report? Like, is this a thesis? Like, just mad sarcasm up my ass, and it was just it was to a point where I had to
It was a nice place to shop.
Well, it wasn't a shop, and then it became a shop, and then it wasn't a shop again. Because at a certain point, I just drew shades. I had like these see-through shades where you
literally
can see out,
and metaphorically,
but you can't see in. And I was in there doing whatever, sculpting, smoking, fucking the bitch, whatever. Like I was in there doing, and I would get knocked, and you basically you needed an appointment to come to my store to shop. It was just like that's the vibe I had, because I just hated people at that point.
You used to let me in when the shades.
Of course. I mean, I had like Robin Williams, one of the best customers I ever had. He would come, I would close those shades, I would close my store, he'd shop, and I wouldn't open for another week.
Or just smoke a blunt with
No,
him.
but it's funny.
Yeah.
No, but it's funny.
I wouldn't open for a week.
That's why I used to go over there to smoke
but,
your weed. That was the main reason.
Of course, the whole
Robin
store
Williams
smelled like weed. It'd be on blogs and shit.
Yeah.
But he embraced that whole culture of Robin Williams.
I would close my shop.
He'd go to.
I would close my shop.
And then he went to Kid Robot after
the
that.
cat was shot.
You make all the rounds.
This is before Kid Robot though. But yeah, after
Does
eventually.
Kid Robot ever play into your story?
This is like. Lights to start flashing, shit should come down from the ceiling right now because I said the word.
Oh, okay, but I know you. We know it's well documented that like Kid Robot marks a certain
this is before that
point in the
I
story.
told my Blackout story. You could
Dude, I would close the store for an hour, and he would just enter. He would shop and entertain me and my daughter, whoever else was in there, for an hour. Like Robin was the man with that.
Right.
But this is before that.
Yeah, but
that store.
He used to come into
don't have a
A-Life
store
too.
anymore.
But listen, he used to come into A-Life, and the funny thing, I remember the first time, because we had the office that would overlook the store. So like, we're like, oh shit, that's Robin fucking Williams. Like what, so you don't want to be like dicks, like everybody run downstairs to like hang out.
But you don't
want
to ignore him either.
Yeah, right. So in the beginning he'd come in and it'd be like, it was quiet, but then once he's got comfortable with you, all those voices would come out.
Yeah, he'd come in with his son too, because his son was
his son, because his son he used to buy a lot of shit for his son. But I'm saying, like all of a sudden, when he would feel more comfortable with you, all of a sudden it was like all these voices would come out and be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna buy this marker and go. He would like do like a skit on every fucking product.
It was hilarious.
Yeah, it was good.
So I mean, that's all cool or whatever. Like people sucking my dick. All these companies are coming, but it just got annoying when. Like that store, right? Like I knew the dude. He was one of those people that would come to my store and ask questions, and I'd be happy to educate you. Oh yeah, that's Michael Lau from Hong Kong, and that's so and so, and oh how and this, like I said, this is before internet, and so he was like, oh, I'm planning on doing a website, and I kind of helped him out. I supported him. I gave him Michael Lau's address, the email address, Eric So, whatever, and thinking I'm doing a good deed. Next thing I know, I'm getting like an email from Michael Lau on some like, yo, this dude wants to buy my shit for his website. I'm like, yeah, cool. I told him to check you out. He goes, yeah, he told me that, but then he's like, he just wants me to sell exclusively to him and not sell to me anymore.
Oh,
That's nice.
So I mean, after that point, so you're dealing with shit like that, and then the Nikes and all that. So at that point, in MTV, I just. That's another story. Like, it's a whole other hour, dude.
Right. I mean,
it's after a
why
bunch
you
of
gotta
that
get him
shit.
fucking mad?
After a bunch of that shit, dude, it was just.
He's nice pissed.
Yeah, man. It's like all these memories.
It's not difficult.
Man.
It's not difficult. Come on.
Nah, but he was, he was there throughout that whole time and shit. Because Morgan was.
Yeah, but I mean, I wasn't doing shit at the time. I was totally on your dick.
You were doing your art and doing your
but
shit.
it hadn't
making
established.
pornos
I hadn't
and shit.
established anything yet. So I was like
dude.
looking at you guys. What?
Man,
You
no,
idolized me?
Yeah, dude.
No, you didn't.
The porn king, man.
You had the gay microbots guys.
I had
Remember
my
that
shit.
shit?
I had
This
my
is
shit
the
out
dope.
there. Well, I mean, I was on your dick the whole time too. Just like because you were actually doing it. I was still trying to figure out how to get my shit off the ground.
So
and now
after-
it's totally
after-
crash and burn since then. But
No, dude, I'm here.
yeah, we're all
made
no,
it.
I crap. Well, yeah, we made it. We made it. Well, I mean, I know,
After all that shit, who can blame me for being, a dick to everybody? So it was,
I don't. I mean, it's the way of the world. You were in the vanguard, and the vanguard always gets fucking cut down by the horde.
And then I did the Keith Haring shit, and everyone started making fucking art toys and Warhol, and it was just like they just copied this shit out of me.
Before we talk about the whole other thing in between, what's your relationship with toys, both as just a fan and a collector, and also as a artist or creator that works in toys? Where are you with toys now?
I still love toys.
Do you still collect and buy shit?
I don't. I do if it really if I really like it. I have to kind of really. Before it was just like, oh shit, it's the new whatever, I need it. Where now it's like it really has to kind of speak to me for me to get it, and some still do, but I'm not as fanatical as. But I've let go a lot. I've sold a lot of my collection. I've Craigslist, eBay, you name it.
All that shit's a burden at the end of the day.
At the end of the day, it's fucking plastic. The shit
just
melts,
stuff.
and like the sneakers. All my sneakers have cracked, and
Yeah, I know. I mean, that's the thing. I always felt that, like, at the end of the day, it didn't
button
really,
downs always
didn't
live.
And as my
really
family
give true happiness.
grew, and you learn to let go things. That things don't become as important.
But you're still a creative individual.
Of course.
Do you still make shit related to toys, or is that just some?
I mean,
one
related
part
to
of your
toys
life?
meaning what? I've always done art.
Are you gonna put out another toy?
I've put out some shit for other people, like as clients, but like my own stuff, I'm doing a lot of stuff in bronze and steel and the kind of like sculptures. Where for me, the whole vinyl shit was a sculpture anyway. It was just a different medium, and that's how I always saw it. Was art. It was just a different medium. Once that medium is gone, I'm still gonna be here. Where's that company at?
A piece of bronze will last longer than a piece of fucking vinyl. That's for sure.
Of course, and I don't have to make 1,000 pieces to make 10 times
Is
as
that
much
true?
as the
Isn't
fucking.
vinyl like indestructible?
It turns yellow and starts to decompose after a while, doesn't it?
It looks different colors and shit, but
Who knows?
I know bronze will
I mean,
obviously
I have
last
toys.
longer.
I have
know
designer
that.
toys where I'll take it. I've had them for like 15, 20 years, and like some of the paint has gotten tacky, or
Yeah.
it's starting to fall
Yeah,
off
like
or
sticky
degrade,
shit.
whatever. That's all bullshit.
The paint
Oh, crap.
gets really
Yeah, you can leave a
It's like
thumbprint
sticky.
on it,
Yeah,
whereas
it's
like
because
when
the
you bought
paint,
it, was,
right, yeah, fucking
it starts to
lead
have a
or-
weird long-term chemical reaction with the fucking plastic and starts to degrade. Who cares? Just like your fucking life and your sex drive. So it's just like, do you need an actual physical object there to remind you that you're dying? No, you don't. Because you could just look at your own body. But anyway,
I do like looking at shit though. I think that's why.
Yeah, I like looking at shit, but I don't need to
that
own
reminiscing.
shit.
No, you're right. You're
I can
right.
let
I
it
need
go.
to fucking purge. Bro.
No, I've let
I'm the
go,
worst.
dude. And then during that time, I was just making bank, dude. I got into like watches and I had Rolexes,
Did that bring you any
No, I
true
don't know.
happiness?
It did not, even though I jerked off at night, like with them,
With your watches? You used
Yeah.
to jerk off to your watch.
right? Like
You got to be kidding me.
dude. I had the illest watches. So.
But was there a woman?
But it was
involved
just
anywhere?
it wasn't happiness. It was just all monetary bullshit. Like I said, I've
Have
learned
you
to,
found
like,
any
I've never had a
happiness?
Rolex.
Yeah, my daughter and my family.
But what about just like you and your soul? How have you changed in the last 20 years?
You dress different.
I dress differently.
Yeah.
No, I mean, to get back to the story, which will answer this question.
Yes.
I kind of left the whole scene after my mom passed away, and I fell into depression and shit like that.
Sounds
So
natural.
yeah, so that's the kind of like where I'm at now. It's like my parents have died. I'm more into family and just more prioritize those kind of things, health and you know, been going to LA a lot. I like the weather there. I like just the vibe. I'm angry in New York, but it's
Really?
just yeah.
Yeah.
Aren't you, dude?
Sometimes. I mean, sometimes I'm so angry and I don't even know I'm angry. I've been angry for months and I don't even know.
You ride
It's
the
like
train and you look at the people and everyone's either looking down or just like mad sad, dude.
You
It's
think
just like
that's something unique to
Life
New York?
sucks.
it's just wow, like, you know, I'm the only one that's smiling on the train. Sometimes I feel like oh, I shouldn't smile. Like people think I'm crazy. I'm happy. People shit like they think I'm
It's so rude
dog.
that you're
I'm
happy.
like looking around. It's either that or everyone's on their fucking cell phone, which
Yeah,
is
phone
stupid.
Is that
shit.
unique to
Worse.
New York?
No, probably not. Why LA is not like that?
Well, I don't take the train in LA, so I don't see
Yeah,
people on
I
the
called up
fucking
my dad
train.
on Father's Day. I started laughing. He hung up on me, and I called him. I said, "Yo, what the fuck you hang up before?" He said, "You were laughing. You sounded crazy." I was like, "I laugh. Like what the fuck?"
Yeah,
That's
it's
the
like you
laugh is
can't be
why you're on
happy.
this show. You know that and the food.
I
but
mean,
like
I'm only
the-
speaking for
yeah.
myself, but yeah, I mean that's what I see when I see New York, and people, you know, it's.
I remember one night you broke some serious shit down for me.
All right.
You want to talk about that?
Sure, what are we talking about?
Okay.
'Cause there's been
yeah,
many. nights.
yeah.
We used to hang out a lot. You know, I
Yeah,
used
yeah.
to. I mean, I thought what you were doing was great, and it's like
And I think what you're doing, always thought what you were doing is great. Was
you never
great, 'cause-
said that at the
no,
time.
I have.
You
and-
used
and
to kind
in
of
the future
you used to kind of act a little like you were the senior.
because
you
it
were.
was,
You
you know,
were.
kind
You
of
were-
a
you were
Jedi
doing
Padawan kind of,
Yeah,
you know.
okay, fine. Yeah, you didn't ask me to suck your dick or anything.
No,
which was
no,
fine. I wouldn't
but-
have done it, but
I respect what you do because it's maintained and it's always been real and it is what it is. It's, you know what I'm saying. You're not
Right.
selling out for selling out sake and shit.
right. Sure, of course. Yes, you're right. Thank you. I mean, I do
So
consider
I respect
you
what
to
you
be
do
one
for
of, one of
art's
my
sake, dude.
influences.
It's
Thank
art.
you. Thank you. Peace. Yeah, peace. All right, word up. Good to hear that.
That's why
That
I'm
brings
here.
me some closure.
That's
I
why
was
I'm
never really sure if you ever really appreciated
Ah,
it.
come on, dude. We've had the
But you have this cool guy demeanor that
We've
leaves
had the
people
moments
guessing.
and shit.
Yeah,
We've had the
moments.
hallmark
So I'm gonna
moments.
call one of these moments.
All right.
I love what you do.
Yo, can I get a
Thanks.
beer before?
Yeah,
start
round
that?
of beers.
Wait,
I'll get it.
you knew
yeah,
that?
before we
Wait,
get all
for me?
sobby and shit. Like,
No, it's not gonna be
Oh
sobby.
yeah, I
okay.
would love that. I was like, you saw me. I'm like looking. I'm like trying to catch his attention. I'm like,
You were on my rounds when I used to take my little bike from
all
my
right,
mom's house. Okay. Okay.
Before you say that, though,
Yeah.
and I'm not making excuses, but you gotta understand the place I was coming from. I knew I was a dick, and I was a dick on purpose, but it was a thing where, like the whole thing I just explained with all, I had Kid Robot having meetings about me and my company with Toy Tokyo. It was like
Well, was they having the meeting with you?
About how to take all your good shit.
It was
and then
like on
take
some
you out.
toy mafia shit, dude. Like I had families meetings on some like that meeting on like.
What are we gonna do about this guy?
Yeah, like, oh, how come he
Wow.
doesn't sell our toys and he doesn't let us sell his toys? You know, and this nigga loves like because he doesn't like you guys, and that's just that. He doesn't care about the money. He doesn't, you know, it's like, and that was the whole shit. So
I don't
that's the
blame
place
you
I
for
was
any- I
coming
don't
from. I was
blame
coming
you
from
for
a
any of this
very
shit.
jaded place.
I don't blame you for any of that shit, and I've gone through my own.
So I was very
experiences.
careful with the people around me.
I've been a dick for my own reasons.
And you were a toy dude, so it was like,
Yeah. And
Where
I
were
didn't
you
want
coming
I didn't
from?
really want anything from you.
What
it's just
angle
like,
were you coming
I didn't
from?
have an angle except to smoke your weed.
of course.
You know.
And to sell me some weird toys.
Yeah, whatever. We fucked. You put.
I bought some of your toys,
Yeah,
dude.
and you put some of my.
I still
shit in your
have that
store.
like shit from A-Life.
the Eno.
Yes.
oh yeah.
I still
That
have
was
one
my
of those,
first
I got
dude.
one.
first toy I
I got-
ever made.
I got one. I love that thing.
I still have that shit.
Nobody
and I,
knows
and I
about
keep
this.
it, and it's in my like in my
It's a cinematic.
kind of
toy.
like.
I
keep
bet the
box.
paint's all fucking sticky, but
I haven't opened it from.
I
It was,
haven't
you know, it was
opened
in
it.
it was
It
in
was that
that
little-
Canal Street weed
Yeah,
jar.
Yeah.
that's what it
Canal
was.
Street weed
That's
plastics.
what it
Yeah.
was.
and you got the black glitter one.
I got-
and
Yo,
I've never
you
been
remember
able.
that
And I've
shit?
never been able to
I have like a
recreate
white
black
With the,
glitter.
Pearl.
with the fucking midnight blue base or some shit.
I have like a white pearl kind of.
Those
No,
were great.
I love
I
them.
made those
Purple
with
pearl
Charlie.
stand, real-
It's the first time I ever made a toy out of resin for that JK5 show we were going to do. You guys were like, oh, we'll make a figure out of glass. And me and Joey were like, oh, cool. And then we were like, yeah, we're not going to do that. Here's $800. Just make something, whatever. So I holed up with Charlie, and I figured out how to do the resin shit. I sculpted the figure, and we
Charlie
made a
was
bunch
cool
of cats.
too.
He
Charlie
was the
was
best.
cool.
I got...
He
He's
got
a,
real weird with me after a while.
oh, really? Why?
I don't know, because he started making toys and he thought I could be a problem or something. I don't
Oh,
know.
well, he's a sensitive soul. He made that Giuliani figure, which was a big thing.
I still have one.
Yeah, that
It's
was
fucking
seminal
classic.
thing.
The little pillow. Fucking.
No, it was like a
It was
12
a 12-inch
like a
doll, and
realistic
it was just
looking doll.
German get up, fucking.
Yeah, he did Giuliani as a Nazi. He used to sculpt these heads, like these likenesses of just these perfect faces. He had the studio at the Christie Street building,
God, I know who
195
he
Street.
is.
Yeah, but I'm just saying people listening might not know.
Oh, okay,
so
okay.
I'm using you as a surrogate for the
Okay,
audience.
I didn't know.
Okay.
I didn't know. I thought
All right.
you were pretending I didn't know.
No, I'm just
Okay,
all
good.
right. I'm fine. I don't want to insult you.
No,
You know
no.
what's up.
All right.
And then he had to switch it to America's Hero after 9/11. It was like he went from a villain figure to a hero figure. But you already knew that, so fuck you. He taught me how to make resin. I made a resin toy for your store, and you made a big deal. I remember though. Let's not forget. You bought the toy for me, but you threw the money on the floor and made me pick it up.
Mad?
I did?
Yep.
No.
Yeah, and I loved it.
Really?
Yes, you did. You kind of
Wow.
sunned me a little bit. It's like, all right,
Wow.
I'll buy your toy. Boom,
that
boom,
shit
boom.
up.
Wow.
And I picked that shit up in 2 seconds. And that moment made it into Toilers of Chinatown, actually.
Did it?
Yeah, where I'm also the guy picking up the
That's
money.
what that's from.
That shit,
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, that's a thing you do anyway, but that was, it actually
That's
happened.
good to know. That's
No,
good
it
to
came,
know.
no, it was
Yeah,
great. It
yeah,
was, that's
good
the
to
way, it
know.
was fine. It was fine. I
Good
appreciated
to
that.
know. That's.
I wasn't mad. I thought it was hilarious.
It's kind of weird. 'Cause
It wasn't mean-spirited.
No. I must have like these times where I black out because I don't
2
remember.
seconds of
No,
your life.
honestly, because there's stories that
Yeah,
people
me
have told
too.
me. Like Pookie.
I've met the same guy 10 times in a
Pookie,
row.
you know Pookie. Love Pookie's my man.
Yes.
Back at Union when I worked for James Jebb and I was managing that store, whatever. Pookie was my employee, and he has a story of me like saying like. He kind of mouthed off at me, and I was his manager, and I was just like, "Oh, you do what I say." And he said I threw the hangers on the floor and told him to pick them up.
And you don't remember that.
And I don't rember that. That's such a.
But does it sound like something you would do?
It is. It does, because it's such a dick move. But
Were you drinking or it was just straight?
no. It was just I was a dick, dude.
Also, you smoked a lot of weed, and you probably forgot a couple of
He
things.
said that
It
so
must be,
sincere.
but either that or Alzheimer's with the age.
right.
But
Who knows?
I must have blacked out.
No,
but
it
there's-
happens to me too.
There's a lot of fucking moments where I was like, dude, I was that much of a dick. How come you didn't punch me in my face? You afraid of me?
Because you could get away with it. I
guess
mean, I didn't
so.
really. The thing is,
And that's why I did it, I guess, because I got away with it.
I can't speak to these other events. When that particular moment, I took it. I thought it was humorous because it wasn't necessarily done in a mean-spirited way, and I was kind of coming to you with my hat in my hand, like, please, it's important for me that you acknowledge the significance of my work, but I don't want you to fall all over me either.
I mean,
because
I'm
then I won't respect
sarcastic,
you.
and that's
Yeah.
my general personality. People that know me know my
I
sarcasm,
got
so
it.
at that point,
I
it's
got
not
it.
malicious.
I got it.
But just, I mean, some of the things that I've
I
done
do that
sound
shit.
very
Yeah, me
malicious.
too.
Like,
I've done some
damn, that was
terrible
me,
mean
son.
things that have been misunderstood a lot.
Damn,
Well, it
yo.
must feel good to confess all this shit.
Yeah, it does.
See?
I mean,
It's
I've
the
had-
guilt
gotta wake
thing.
up
It's the
early
guilt
on
thing.
Sunday.
It's the
Therapeutic,
guilt
man.
thing is coming back in.
Hey, everybody's.
So
a good
what's
person.
this thing you wanted to?
Okay, so
to
it was one
get
night.
off your chest?
One night, you had that space on Allen Street. You had
My
like
warehouse,
a
the
warehouse.
warehouse. It was called
and
the
I would,
warehouse.
I would,
Studio or the warehouse.
Warehouse, whatever the fuck you had going
I
on
was
in
with
there.
my partner,
Yeah,
DJ Hero.
I
God
think
rest his
that's
soul.
you were probably at the height of your game when you were actually moving shit. You had boxes of sneakers and watches and toys and all whatever kind of shit. And I used to go up there once in a while and hang out with you and smoke
Mm-hmm.
it. We used to roll it in the backwoods. It's a fucking blunt that looked like some weird stick bug, out of these fucking weird ass blunt papers.
Some Pixar
And we used to
shit.
go up there and we would be hanging out kind of late, just you and me
Yeah.
smoking. I remember one night it was really cold and you had this radiator, this electric
They would
radiator.
bring girls up there.
Not when I was there.
Oh, okay.
I know you
That
ran
was
through a
the
lot of
spot.
girls. I know you ran through a lot of girls. All Japanese girls for the most part, right? You had your time.
Mostly.
Yeah. No, there was no girls when I was around. And you're sitting there hugging this radiator.
Of
I'm
course,
freezing
right?
my ass off, and you have this electric radiator.
Well, he
and
never
you're holding
shared
it.
either. That's why.
I didn't have anything to share. And we're smoking and we're smoking. And we were getting into, we had been talking about, it got to the point where we can't talk about fucking toys forever. And the conversation goes into another direction. We start talking about, as both of us do apparently, more esoteric stuff.
Okay.
Spiritual things
Okay.
and just realities and stuff like that. And then you look at me and you're like, can you keep an open mind? And I'm like, yeah, sure, of course, yeah. I'm open-minded to whatever. And you go on and
We're
tell
gonna go there.
you go on and tell me about the whole 5%er shit about how
Yes.
white people are created in a laboratory
Not
by the
created
evil
in a
Dr.
laboratory.
Yakuan.
Something like that. It's
Something like that.
It's very
And I already
comic
knew
books
all
right
about
now, but
that
it
shit,
wasn't that.
I've been
yeah.
yelled at by fucking Israelites.
Black
in the street.
Islam.
So-
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I've been
Black
harassed by
Islam.
Black Islam my whole life.
Israelites are different. They're
Yeah,
like the X-Clan.
You're
with
right.
the
You're right. The
bracelets
Black
and-
Islam, the Fruit root of Islam, 5% and all that
yeah.
shit. And you proceeded to break it down for me that I was the
Yes.
product of some sinister experiment.
Okay.
You know, to create the devil in the flesh.
Yes.
Do you remember that?
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
And I mean,
I do.
I knew about that stuff already from the guys with the books on the street.
Yeah.
And I kind of agreed with it, to be honest with you. You know, do you still subscribe to this belief system today?
I do. It's just when I was younger, I was a little more fiery than I am
Okay, so
now.
tell us the theory.
But it's not.
What's the
it's not
theory?
anything about
I wanna-
about you personally, because
Right.
for me, I judge everyone as an individual. So you're my
Right,
man
and so
Morgan.
there
so
may
it was
be
always
some
cool,
little
yeah.
strain of blackness floating in there from back
Well,
in the day
everyone
that
comes
gets
from
me
that.
off
No,
the hook.
yeah, everyone comes from that, obviously.
Yeah, but
'cause
not
everyone comes
everybody
from
has it or
Africa and
maintains it.
Whatever. But
So who are these white people?
I was speaking of a race entirely, not an individual. As far as like, oh, Morgan, you're the
I'm
you're
Italian
the devil,
anyway.
dude.
Yeah, I know. That's why you were
Well, yeah, I
very
have- I'm
you,
Sicil- you know,
you
I
were
got
very
some
gentle
Sicilian.
with me about it. You
Yeah,
know, like
but-
you didn't want to hurt my feelings.
Who's the-
you
yeah,
didn't
yeah,
want
okay.
me to take it the wrong way.
Okay.
You know, and I
Why
did.
is he considered the white guy, or is the Italian guy not considered the white guy?
Well, Italian's European, so they would be white.
So how did these people come to be?
Who?
The Dr. Yakub. All right, he created
Yakub, Yakub,
he created the white man.
Yakub was a scientist. In the Bible, he's known as Jacob.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, if any religious people out there, you know Jacob.
Right, of course.
That's what
But and
we're
he
talking about.
engineered the white race.
Yes. They were exiled from the root of civilization
Right.
into the caves of West Asia, now known as Europe,
Oh, so
like Armenia or Albania.
the
There's
Caucasus
like
Mountains.
Yeah.
That's where the
There's a
word
statue
Caucasian
of Moses
comes from.
pointing to the Caucasus Mountains in Armenia.
Telling the white people to get the fuck out.
No, showing like where they come from.
Oh, okay. But the Dr. Yakub was evil, wasn't he? He took the black man and made the brown man. Then from the brown man he made the red man, and from the red man he made the yellow man, and then he made the
Exactly.
white man, who is the devil, or who's when it becomes the white man, then he's
bleached out.
He's divided from his humanity.
Yeah, it's all. There's no
It's
longer
over.
pure. Yeah.
You told me you
Yeah.
consoled
There's
me.
no
You said
longer
if I
ran
fucked
out
a
of
black
dye.
girl, I could get myself back.
He's fucked. There's nothing left in that
Yeah,
guy.
you can bring yourself back. Yeah, bring the male
Is
Morgan
this like
back as a
some
black child.
midichlorian shit?
No, it's on some like, like the Greys and stuff like that. Like
Yeah, the aliens. This relates to that somehow?
No, it doesn't.
Are you sure?
Yeah,
Come
positive. That's
But I would have
that-
liked you. Damn, I
that
wish you did.
that
man.
is that's
More about
Malachi
that.
York and stuff like that. That's a whole different. You know Malachi York?
No.
The people that
Yo,
used to,
I thought we were
sell
talking
the
about
chew
fucking
sticks.
toys.
they used to sell the chew sticks. And
How
shit
did
like
the
that.
toy shit
Right.
get to
What,
this
you mean
shit?
like-
I have no fucking idea. I was talking about
This is
Medicom
exactly what he was talking about. When
and the
they're
This is
chilling,
an
you know,
anecdote
and
that
they
I have
can't
with
talk about
Jakuan.
toys
Oh,
forever.
okay.
That I
And the-
wanted
and
to
the
read.
conversation
This is something
takes
he
place.
wanted
that
to
point,
talk
exactly.
about.
No, because I thought that shit was right. And also, to be honest with you, that's like regardless. I mean, that's like a.
So you're the fucking devil.
No, I don't think that. I mean, do I think
You're saying
white?
he's right.
No, Morgan's not the devil.
Do I
No,
think
the
that?
white
Do I
guy.
think
You're the
white
white guy
white
and you're the
Europeans may be responsible for a significant part of the evil in the world? Sure, but I mean, so are the Chinese, you know, or you know.
Whoa, why the drive-by?
So if the Japanese have done
China?
horrible,
Yo.
everybody's done evil except
Ooh,
the
that's a
Asiatic
pretty
black
fucking
man who is.
No, not at all.
No?
No, because they were the first royal people, and basically the whites were the slaves. So it's kind of a reverse role.
Yeah. So what's up?
Yeah, it's kind of a reverse role. So it's
So how
coming
does
back,
this all
so-
end?
So aren't we supposed to feel
It
bad
all
then?
ends.
Do you as a
No, it all ends when we stop looking at color.
and we
When I
and-
stop calling you white, you stop calling me black, you stop calling her
But you're not
Chinese.
even black. You're like Puerto Rican or
I'm
something like that.
I'm Jakuan.
You're a mixed of all kinds of
I'm
genetics.
Jakuan. I'm
You said
nobody.
you
Yeah, I'm the
Sicilian.
sucker.
No, I said I had Sicilian in me because he was talking about Italian. Yeah.
Right.
But
Yeah,
that's
I mean,
just-
I'm
that's
half
whatever.
Italian. I'm like fucking half. I got some Chinese.
That's
I got some
whatever.
Elvish. I got some
Italian is
Hobbit. You know?
Italian, you
And
know,
also, I
that's-
know my fucking soul.
That's
you know? I don't give a
whatever,
fuck.
dude.
I'm not my body. My body
Yeah.
is just a collection of
Just fucking
things.
awesome.
Yeah, I'm a but
Yeah, and that's what you're
You're your
judged
own
by
species.
is your soul, dude.
But there is definitely an evil cabal of genetically engineered evil white people that are controlling the world.
And there's supposedly like fucking shapeshifters and
lizard-
pe-
lizard-
yeah,
lizard.
and lizard. No,
I said, no, I know
lizard.
exactly
People
what you
subscribe
mean.
to that. Yeah.
Like True Blood shit.
No, the Pope is like the Bushes are supposedly like shape-shifting lizards, like the lizard family. Like there's different aliens. There's the Greys. There's the something else, and then
The
the lizards.
reptilian ones.
Yo,
You know back there. You know.
I want to.
What's the what? And what do they want? Why are
Where,
they?
where do you read it? I want to read this. Where do you read
There's
this?
these
The
guys set
internet,
up on the
dude.
street
Type
on
in
West
the-
4th Street that sell
Who are you
these
talking
pamphlets.
about?
Nah,
Huh?
Who are you talking about?
I
What,
can't.
the-
the
I
guys
can't
on
fuck
West
with the
Fork.
dudes
That sell
preaching
these
shit on the
books, you know.
streets.
You
just
can
like normal
you can
people.
buy incense, you can buy oil, scented oils, and you can buy some
No, I
books
just
filled
heard
with
about
knowledge.
shape-shifting lizard people.
Yo,
that
look on YouTube.
that shit I'll read
Obama's a
about.
lizard man, isn't
I'll
he?
read about some
Obama's a
shape-
lizard man. They got a picture of him.
Obama's a lizard
Yeah,
man?
with like his scale
Shape-shifting
showing, like his
lizard.
mask kind of melted off in one day. And
Really? That's so
I've never
specific.
seen that shit. But
do you got anything on that? Lizard
Seen
men
the
in the
Pope.
government?
Get in there.
the
You really
Pope and
believe
shit
this
like that.
crap?
No, I don't.
Where are you now spiritually with humanity?
Like I said, dude, I judge people as individuals.
Right,
Like you said, I judge your soul.
right. You like my soul?
Your soul's cool.
Thanks, man. I like your soul too.
But that's the whole problem. I think, like I said, once, because we see each other as Chinese and white and Italian.
I mean,
and
I
that's
don't
the
really.
whole,
I think like if you live in New York, you're kind of over that shit. If you grew up in New York and you grew up in a kind of,
Fuck, they
mixed
don't, even,
area.
they don't even want to split the bathrooms anymore. You can fucking
Sure
do
they
anything,
do. You can do
wherever
anything
you want, whenever
yeah.
you want.
I'm fine with it.
Me too.
I'm fine with that. I don't
the
care.
whole same gender.
Whatever.
like,
I don't give a
bathroom.
fuck
yeah,
either,
I don't give a
man.
fuck either.
We're in fucking New York, and that's why. Like,
That's what you
I
say.
don't-
Like nothing's weird.
As
anymore.
long as everybody is
man.
nice to
Nothing's
each other, it's
weird.
Whatever,
fine.
I'm over that
Nothing's
shit.
weird
I don't
No,
even
there's
see
still got
that
to be
shit.
more weird shit. There has to be more weird shit,
Oh,
right?
it's
Well, what are you
fine.
gonna do now? You're still creative, so what's up? Where's it going?
I'm doing my art, trying to.
What's that like?
It's hard.
No, but I mean, what is the work about?
I'm into like a lot of Native American kind of art and jewelry, so more on that. I do a lot of patterns, a lot of fabrics. and
Is
shit.
that-
I design jewelry.
And these are like art pieces that hang in a gallery, or they're
No, it's just shit I do at home when I'm bored, just
Uh-huh.
as for art. That's for me. It's like I have to enjoy it. If it's a project or work, it's some of it is enjoyable.
So you're not even trying to sell it or anything like that.
No, I am. Do a show and try.
But
to
I
get
mean,
back
you're not trying to make a living off of it, or it's not going to be your primary.
Yeah, no.
Okay, good. Thank God. And when you try to make money off your art, you fucking
No, exactly.
cause
And that's what I'm
suffering
saying.
for
I
yourself.
do it. I mean, but that's, dude. The toy shit was. It became what it became. I was doing it like I was crazy at first. I had a fucking toy gallery with $400 pieces that people couldn't even buy. Into to what it is now, you know what I'm saying? Like cats like you doing all this shit. It's
Yeah, well, I was never part of that scene, to be honest with you. I was always on my own trajectory, and that thing sort of just happened parallel to what I was doing. I've been making fucking weird Star Wars figures
you
since
were
I was
always your
fucking-
own crew and shit. You
Yeah,
didn't,
it was my own crew.
Yeah,
I managed
You
to
were in
edit.
our crew.
you and whatever
Yeah,
girl you were.
well, I fucked with your crew, and your crew fucked with me, but I was never in the crew. I was never in anybody's
That's
crew.
bullshit.
No, I was always like kind of like.
Nah, you were like royalty. You were fucking. You were.
I was.
But you were in. What do you mean? You were in.
It's funny
fucking,
how you see it and how they see it, right?
Nah, man, yo, you don't understand. My partner, my best friend, brother, is his best friend. That shit is like automatic, like.
But he's
so,
like he's in his own head.
It didn't matter, maybe because we didn't hug enough or some shit.
No, it was
like,
more that like I just looked at you as like, wow, these guys have this
Nah,
store
that's
and they do all
bullshit.
this
You were
big
like
shit,
our
and I'm still
in-house
kind of
crew.
hustling.
You were like our fucking our like roots. Like you were like our band.
I'm glad
like
you. I'm
that.
glad you
For
felt
real,
that
like,
way.
like for me, that was it. It was Cisse. It was like
Everybody
fucking, this is our
listening
crew.
to the show in the fucking designer toy world, I've just been fucking verified by not one but two OG motherfuckers on national television. So you need to put that in your fucking pipe
He's
and
just
smoke
mad
it.
sensitive.
And when my prices go up, you're gonna understand
He was
why.
being mad sensitive because I
Fucking
called him the
stunner.
devil or something.
No,
like
I
that,
wasn't
dude.
sensitive about that. I didn't give a shit about that.
He was fam to me, dude. I used to come to him like, yo, help me with this project. Do this mold for me. I'm Jakuan 360, whatever. But then he's doing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then he's being all insecure and fucking butthole tight over here.
Butthole getting really tight for a
It's for
second.
the show.
No, it's not that. I mean, I'll be honest with you. It's like maybe I've always
called
had.
me the devil,
No, but it was
remember?
just like at that time I
And you
just
gotta
like.
get me involved because now I'm thinking like, yo, I what? I'm the devil too.
No, I don't. Yes,
He
everybody's.
brought us here to try to make us feel guilty.
No, it wasn't that. I just thought it was an interesting topic, and I just wanted to hear your opinion about it all these
From
years
then
later.
and now.
Yeah,
Like I said, I was younger. I was into history and all that. I mean,
Are you gonna vote for Hillary Clinton?
I don't vote.
You don't vote?
No.
Why?
Me neither.
Because it's totally corrupt and bullshit.
Yeah.
And the outcome doesn't
First of all,
matter.
it's a no-win situation this time anyway, so it don't matter.
Yeah.
I don't even want to touch this fucking thing.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Fuck politics.
Why you did fucking religion?
It was a ploy from the beginning. It was kind of like the shit in high school where you put two girls up against one boy to divide the vote.
You think
like,
this whole election was a ploy from the beginning?
Yeah, they put
From who?
to put Trump in a fucking situation. No one's gonna vote for Trump, so who else is gonna vote for? Who's left?
I think they could have put off any other equally horrible candidate and would have
No,
lost.
but Trump and Hillary are best friends.
Trump
dude,
has
and
a
he's
better
the only one
chance
that's
of winning
willing
than
to act
any
like
of
an
those other guys
asshole.
running.
Trump doesn't give a fuck what he sounds like.
Apparently,
He's like a billionaire.
He
apparently,
doesn't really give a fuck.
No.
no. But people seem to like that. What's the point of putting
He's a
somebody up
clown,
there?
and-
Yeah,
and
but I'm
he-
just saying. You're
he's being
talking
a clown
about.
on purpose.
Are you on some Illuminati shit?
No,
or like
not at
some,
all.
Okay.
The lizard people
yeah,
are
but
very
not-
real
not
and
right
dangerous
now.
to us.
No, but I mean, I'm just saying, like.
I mean, yes, but not right now.
Okay, but this election, like,
It's
is
not Illuminati. It's fucking basic. Like I said, it's high school. It's 101. It's like put someone that's not gonna fucking win and put someone else that's less likely to win if someone else was going up against them.
Donald Trump would win if more people voted for him.
He just might have because America's that
just
fucking
might.
crazy.
Yeah, I
Yo,
know.
I
That
don't know.
retarded.
I think he might. to be
He's.
honest.
got- I think
really
he's.
No,
I
people
think
vote
it's.
for
I
Hillary,
think
but
it's
who wants
50-50.
Hillary in there? No offense.
I don't hate her. Depends who. If she picks Elizabeth Warren for vice president, I'll be sold.
I don't know.
It's like I'm definitely think she's
I've
the
done,
lesser of
I've
two
done
evils.
good in Japan for 4 years.
Yeah.
I'm,
You gonna move to Japan? I'm thinking about it too.
Canada, Japan. Like,
Yo, let's put a bet on it. Who wins?
Everybody says that shit all the time. I
but I
personally,
got the money to do it.
I think
though.
if Trump wins, it'll be the apocalypse. If Hillary wins, it'll just be the same shit. And I prefer the same shit over the apocalypse.
either way,
Hillary
yeah,
isn't going to
either
tear the
way-
whole shit down. She's just going to keep things going the way they
You know,
are.
from toys
And
to
we're all
politics,
doing
right?
fine.
Yeah.
I was, and I'll keep going too. But
This is
either way, we're fucked, man.
Whatever.
I
Either
ain't going
way.
anywhere. Whatever fuck things happen to me will happen to my kids, and that's it.
And
I'm
then
fucking here.
everybody wins
What are you
or
trying
loses.
to spawn something?
Me, I'm not going to have a kid. I don't think it's. I think
Not
it's
gonna
too
bring
late
him
for
into
that.
this world.
Should I?
Yo, kids are the best.
It changes.
Nah.
I'm probably. I love kids, but I
'Cause then the party
probably.
stops.
I don't need to have my own kid. I think I'd probably at
Kids
some
are
point
great,
in my
dude.
like
It
do
made me from like a racist
He's not ready
asshole
for
to the
that
man I am today.
like a less assholey, less racist
Exactly.
guy. Yeah.
Kids are the best.
I know they're the best, but is it essential to have a child to have a fulfilling
No,
life?
it's not essential.
Like
mean,
I fuck with
whatever.
kids.
Anybody does
One
whatever
of
the
my
fuck-
best buddies is only 10 years old, and he comes over here and I father him
I
for
think
like
so.
half an hour, and then
I think so.
you think I'm missing some essential human experience by not having a kid.
Personally, I think so.
Yeah, you're
I
right.
think it's part of being.
But
a
do
human.
I have to physically reproduce? Can I just adopt a child at some point? Is my
Personally-
DNA so
personally?
yeah?
Yeah,
Why?
because it's you.
It is my fluids and my
seed.
body, my
Yeah,
seed.
it's
But
your
am I
fucking, you know.
so wonderful that I need to leave some vestige of my
Dude,
DNA
you're a
in the world?
creative genius. Imagine you fucking putting your shit in some
Yeah, but imagine it
We
goes
just
away
had this
and
conversation.
super hot chick. Like you'd have a super hot
I
creative
mean, I've put my
genius.
seed in
just had
super
this
hot
con-
chicks all the time, just not in their pussy. But
No, but we had this conversation, and it's like the fucking fun and joy of like knowing that this thing that you created, like if you go like
sounds
this,
like a very selfish endeavor.
No. But if you go like this on your head a couple of times, all of a sudden you start seeing them going like this, like
Dude,
Monkey
the
see,
age-
monkey
but
do.
the-
I don't
the
need
age-
that.
No, it's-
The age that we're in now, like when we were growing
Yeah.
up, there was no social
I
media.
think
there
the
was
way
no
the way
internet.
this
There-
is what I'm going
like
to
my
do.
daughter's gonna be a monster, dude.
I know
And
that.
she's 15.
Listen, I mentor kids and people all the time. I'm thinking instead of actually having my own
She
child
is.
because
she's had already 3 art shows. She's 15.
good for her and good for you. For me,
fucking
not so
awesome.
much.
No, but
I'm gonna start like the Super SUCKLORD School for gifted children, and I'm just gonna I'm gonna be like a Charles
for
Xavier
kids that
type.
cannot read well.
Yeah, for just
Charles
weird art rejects. I've had quite a few like young people come to me and submit themselves to my tutelage, and I've molded them into reasonably functional individuals. Look at
Porn-
fucking Weird Luke, for
Porn
example.
101.
Pretty much.
Weird Luke got me.
making.
That's
Hey,
not the
hey,
signature
that's-
disciple.
that's
Working
nice.
up there.
That's
a
nice,
nice-
but it's not the same thing
It's a
as
nice
fucking.
alternative. It's a nice thing, and it's a great way to think. We did the same thing. Kids in the block, whatever, come in, draw on a piece of paper, we put
And
it
then
up
get
on the
outta
thing.
here.
No, it's great. No, but there's something about having a kid.
There's a lot of motherfuckers in the world right now, and the whole thing is going down the goddamn toilet.
That's okay because you know what? I create my own fucking world. I don't give a fuck if who's becoming president, who's whatever. I'm hanging out with my kid and we're doing shit.
Yeah, but what about the lizard aliens?
Sigh.
If the lizard aliens come, I'm gonna protect them. I'm working out of them. I got these Bowflex.
What's the new Independence Day movie coming out?
Resurrection, whatever.
And you know about reading up on him. He ain't protecting shit. They're gonna eat his ass.
I will fight and attack forever.
To each his own, man. Maybe someday down the line you'll tell me you told me so, or who knows? Things may turn around. I could fuck up tomorrow night and become a father.
You could be Jon Snow. I thought you didn't want to talk about that.
That's not. I mean,
no, I don't know enough about fucking. You heard that conversation.
Yeah.
We don't know enough about Game of Thrones, right? You can't have that conversation.
It's not that I can't have it. It's just I don't choose to.
Okay, all right.
Because if you get me, it's just one of those things. If you get me started on it, then the next it's gonna go on.
You guys almost cried before we were talking about that.
She did.
I'm on your side, man. I'm on your side.
Yeah.
See? She almost cried.
Nobody's gonna cry over motherfucking Jon Snow tonight.
Not tonight.
Maybe next week.
I almost did last week. Oh my god.
I thought that was really interesting, though, when he was being buried in all those bodies, because that was almost like the physical enactment of his resurrection. Like when he was brought back to life, he was like, "Why'd you bring me back to life?" And he was almost in denial about it. But then here he is in a situation where he's literally fucking being buried by death
itself.
And he elected to dig himself out, you know, so he still has that desire to live. And I just think that was powerful stuff.
Absolutely.
And you know what? Actually, the episode's done. The episode's over.
Hey, that went quick, huh?
Yeah, I mean,
end.
do you have any closing remarks? Would you like to clarify anything we discussed?
No, I still hate everybody I hate.
Okay, fine. And you love everybody you love.
And I love everybody I love.
Great. And so, but you're continuing to work and all that shit. Where do if somebody watching the show wanted to follow up on you, can they, or will you be a dick to them?
No. I mean, they can, like, I'm on social media. I'm on
Okay.
IG, Jakuan360, JKUAN360.
Got it.
And then from there, they can just Google anything else.
Yeah, and if they really care, they'll go on. And you?
What?
If people wanted to look you up, what would they look for?
I started Instagram.
You invented Instagram.
I just got on Instagram.
You weren't on
2 months
Instagram?
ago.
Let me get some
Yeah, I've seen your Instagrams.
Right.
It's like all shit that you find in your storage space,
Yeah.
and then you write this long-winded explanation in all caps. But it's
So?
all important stuff.
But it's nice.
It is nice. So
What
cool
is
is
it?
it?
I gotta follow it. What is
It's
it?
for me. It's
But
for
what's
me.
your fucking name on
private?
Instagram?
At Tony Arcabascio.
I don't
No,
follow
it's not
private. I don't need
not
permission.
private.
I don't do that private shit, dude. Like,
No.
I need your
At
permission.
Tony Arcabascio.
Alright.
Okay, look it up. It's fresh. It's like a little lesson for all you dicks, and you can learn. And
And now you know.
And it's not private.
and it's not private. And I don't have a lot of followers because I don't really promote it in any way, and I don't really know.
Oh, you're about to get a lot of followers.
I don't know all the rules.
Yeah, I'm
I don't know the hashtag rules. I started getting a little more hashtaggy, but I didn't get that in the beginning.
Hashtag.
Yeah. There's a joke there somewhere, but we'll
Alright.
save
Anyway,
it for
put that
another
on the
time.
shirt.
That's where you could go check that shit out. That's like, someone broke it down. Someone fucking wrote to me that said, "Oh, it's so nice that you're telling your life story through objects," and that's what it is.
And there you have it, folks. We bring you the best quality, the best content, and the best people here on the Super Suck Hour. And as you know, if you're not watching this, you're a total fucking loser. So fuck you. Thank you for watching. We'll see you again next time. J Corp, thank you. We have some use for you in the future. Nasty Neil, fuck out of here. Jaquan, Tony.
Thank you very much.
Suck Hour, fuck off the next.
Been therapeutic.
Close the doors.